Why has Nintendo's marketing of Metroid Prime 4 just felt so weird? If you saw the gameplay overview for Metroid Prime 4 this past week, you probably noticed two major points of discourse. The first being that there is an NPC in this game that feels like they are ripped straight out of the MCU. Like they have this really cringe, like overly comedic dialogue. They are over-explaining what is happening like directly in front of you on screen. And the other thing people were criticizing about this overview was that Nintendo had to explain that there was a jump button in this game. And so I think because of this huge tonal shift, especially with this NPC from the past Metroid games, it begs the question of like, who are they marketing this game toward? And I actually think the answer is a lot more straightforward than we think. I think it's the core Nintendo Switch player base. This is the first FPS title that is being published by Nintendo in almost 20 years, the previous being Metroid Prime 3 Corruption. And also here, I think FPS games are not historically well received on Switch, or they're not very popular among the Switch player base. I think the most popular is likely Overwatch, which had a pretty measly port on the Switch one. It didn't run very well, and a lot of other FPS titles like Call of Duty, for example, have a really hard time actually getting onto the Switch's ecosystem just because the hardware couldn't run it. So I think for the core Switch player base, if they're not playing other consoles or PC, I think that they have not really been conditioned to play first-person shooter games, especially one that is like Metroid, which is built specifically for console, which plays a lot differently than a game just like Call of Duty for PC. The combat encounters are slower, you have auto aim, there are a lot of tweaks for FPS games that are made specifically for a console to make it a lot more accessible on a controller. And then you also add in that this is a Metroid game, so it's a Metroidvania, and there's also platforming elements in the Prime games. There's a lot being mashed up in this package that I think a lot of modern Switch players who haven't played the previous Prime games are just going to be new to. And so I think Metroid Prime 4 is actually priming Nintendo's audience for more FPS and more like traditionally considered like hardcore genre titles. Like we know the Duskbloods is going to come out as a Switch exclusive, which is super interesting. Like I think that Nintendo is really pushing to allow their audience to have a little bit more of a hardcore flair if they want it. But let me know what you think. Are you excited for Metroid Prime 4, and what do you think about how it's being marketed? And don't forget to like and follow for more game reviews, recommendations, and discussions.